When Tony Stark's world is torn apart by a terrorist known as the Mandarin, he begins an odyssey of rebuilding and retribution. This is my review of Iron Man 3. So when I went to see Iron Man 3 with my dad, I knew that Iron Man 3 wasn't going to be as good as the Avengers, but I knew that it was going to be good. So the good points. The main good point is Robert Downey Jr., who plays Tony Stark / Iron Man. Yeah, this movie was more about Tony Stark than Iron Man, and I have to say that it was really enjoyable watching Downey Jr. play Tony Stark more than Iron Man. Another good point is the visual effects. I thought at points that they weren't really realistic, but most of the time they were realistic, and it was like really cool seeing these realistic visual effects with the camera shots, because it was like Iron Man was going over here and there. Another good point is the battles. There's a few like skirmishes like there and there, like in the beginning and in the middle of a movie, but in the end there's this 10 to 15 minute fight, which is really cool. And again, with the visual effects, it makes it a little realistic. Okay, the bad points. The main bad point that I didn't like about the film was the twist. And I can't tell you about the twist right now, but I'll tell you about it in the spoiler section. Another thing that was not as bad, but it was a little bit confusing on why they didn't do better on it, was the post-credit scene. And again, I'll get to that in the spoiler section. The pacing was a little bit off, because at points it was like going from really slow pacing and then all of a sudden like go like really fast, and it was like, whoa, what's going on, like trying to keep up with it. The humor in the film, it was good in my opinion, but at some points it was a little bit awkward, and I was like, why did they even put that in the film? I don't know, it just seemed awkward to me. Yeah, so in the end, my dad thought this was a really good film, and he gives it 3.5 out of 4 stars. Well, I thought it was just a good film, and I give it 3 out of 4 stars. Okay, the spoiler section. If you haven't seen Iron Man 3, then get out of here now, or the film is going to be spoiled to you. And then come back later and see what I had to say about the things I'm going to say. Okay, so like I said in the bad points, that there's this twist in the film that I sort of didn't really like, and here's what it was. So, the villain is the Mandarin, as you saw in the trailers and everything. From what I heard before I saw the movie, I heard that the Mandarin to Iron Man was like the Joker to Batman. So I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. They saved the best for last for Iron Man. Ben Kingsley played Mandarin, and he was so menacing, so evil in the film. Well, at least the first half anyway. I mean, he was really menacing when he says, "You'll never see me coming." Obviously, he does it better than me, but he's really evil when he says that, and I thought his acting was really good. Iron Man finds out where the Mandarin is, so Iron Man goes to this mansion where Mandarin is, and Iron Man finds out that the Mandarin is nothing. He's just an actor. And when that happened, I was like, nope. This has to be a trick or something from Mandarin. Like, he's trying to get Tony to think that he's just an actor. But nope. In the end, he's just an actor. And Guy Pearce's character, Aldrich Killian, he made the Mandarin up so that the government would focus their attention on the Mandarin and not on him, because in the end, Guy Pearce's character, Aldrich Killian, was the main villain of the story. And even though I thought it was a little funny, and even though I'm not a reader in the comics, I don't read the comics, I thought story-wise it was a bit of a waste to use the Mandarin like this, because even though it was unexpected, I thought it was just bad. Because Iron Man and Mandarin could have had this epic fight. But in another point of view, there was this big battle in the end, and it was good, but I would have rather seen Iron Man versus Mandarin and his henchmen. But that's my opinion anyway. The other thing that didn't bother me as much as the twist of the film was the post-credit scene. So after the credits, you hear Tony talking, and then the camera comes into Tony in this office, and he's on his therapist long chair talking to who I thought was a therapist, but when the camera pans over, it's really Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk. And he thought, oh, what's this going to be about? And what Tony is saying really is his story about what happened with Killian. And what Bruce is doing is he's like this. He's sort of falling asleep. And he said that he was falling asleep because he didn't want to get mad. And then Tony and him throw a few comments back at each other. And then it ends, and I was like, even though that was funny, I expected a little bit more. Because in Iron Man, the first one, in the post-credit scene, Nick Fury asked Iron Man about the Avenger Initiative, and I expected Iron Man 3 to start Phase 2 by trumping what Iron Man 1 post-credit scene did. But they didn't. So hopefully Thor: The Dark World is going to do a better post-credit scene to kickstart Avengers 2 somehow. So yeah, that's it. Even though of the bad twist, in my opinion, and the sort of bad post-credit scene, I thought the film was really good, and I think you guys should go see it. And that's it.